When I applied to Duke, I was already 35 years old. I had 3 kids. I had several deployments to war zones. I had 3 master's degrees. I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to study and how I wanted to study it. Over the course of my time here, my topic has completely changed, studying something completely different. I'm using empirical methods and formal models that I never thought that I could have learned. And in the same way, before I got to Duke, I never stood on a skateboard. I've also never read a regression table. And so I think what I've learned is that you can teach an old dog new tricks. And my Duke experience has been one of discovering unexpected talents. I think it's really interesting when you have 2 things of value or that are good, and pursuing one comes at the expense of others. So there's a lot of examples of this. We can think about the trade-off between freedom and order. In international relations, we talk about guns versus butter. You could think about individual initiative versus social equity. In my own research, I look at how regimes in conflict trade off legitimacy for military capacity. And so, in all, I think things are interesting when there is no one good solution, but when every solution comes with a trade-off. In 2008, I left for my first overseas deployment as an American military officer. My C-17 flight went from Bagram Air Base in Germany, refueled at a naval station in Bahrain, and eventually executed a combat landing into Bagram Air Base in the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. This completely unremarkable journey, or one very similar to that, is repeated nearly every day somewhere in the world as U.S. military aircraft travel from Honduras to Honolulu and Thule to Thailand. The American world order is built on foreign military bases. And the U.S. isn't the only great power with foreign bases. Russia, UK, France, and even now China have all established military bases in foreign countries. But these bases are often obscure to many civilians and taken for granted by most security scholars. A foreign military base, though, is actually kind of a puzzling phenomenon. The country's military forces exist for the primary purpose of protecting that state's territory and citizens. Yet great powers regularly station their military forces abroad, with at least the partial mission of protecting that other country's territory and people. For potential host nations, the decision to allow a foreign country to station military troops in its sovereign territory is equally puzzling. This choice represents the tension between potentially increasing its security and possibly undermining its legitimacy. My dissertation delves into these puzzles and tries to answer the questions of why do sending states want foreign military bases, and why do host nations allow foreign military bases? At the beginning of your career, a lot of time it's about physical courage, but as you go up in rank, the courage that's required is the courage to take responsibility. And I'm really humbled as I assume this new level of responsibility. But the people who really put service before self are the people sitting in the front row, because they didn't sign up for this. They didn't choose this, but they pay the cost and they make the sacrifices. They're the ones that have had to leave their friends, had to find new schools. They're the ones who, when somebody asks them, where are you from, they will never have an answer to that. And so I want to recognize them. In kind of military irony, they call a non-military spouse a dependent. And what's so ironic about that is that I'm the one who's dependent.
And I see other cars and what's going on?
Guys, Joe, you're amazing.
Hey, you're amazing. You're amazing. It's good to see you, even from afar.
Well, yeah, it's called social distancing.
Oh.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.